forthcoming book by a New York Times reporter by the name of David Enrich alleges that Donald Trump once tried to pay his lawyer not with currency of any sort. He wanted to pay his lawyer with a horse, because of course. Now, Trump offered to pay the lawyer, whom he owed $2 million, the deed to a stallion. Enrich reported in Servants of the Damned, Giant Law Firms, Donald Trump, and the Corruption of Justice, out next week. Now, he writes in the book that Trump made some apologetic Trump made some apologetic noises, then said, quote, "I'm not going to pay your bill. I'm going to give you something more valuable." I'm sure every lawyer wants to hear that. I'm not going to pay your bill. I'm going to give you something better. Now, Trump wasn't horsing around. The former president then rummaged around in a filing cabinet and pulled out a deed to a horse supposedly worth $5 million. Now, we'll get to whether or not that even exists, horses that cost $5 million. I'm not a horse expert, but we do have a horse expert working with us, and she helped me out with this story. Ashwarya did. Now, the lawyer was not impressed with this offer. Once he regained the capacity for speech, the lawyer reportedly said, quote, "This isn't the 1800s. You can't pay me with a horse." And after the lawyer threatened to sue, Trump eventually paid at least a portion of what he owed, which is better than the huge for the former president, who is known for bilking his lawyers and others who, should get paid for the work they do for him. Cenk.
Okay, the guy is hilarious. I mean, who pays with a horse? Who pays with a horse?
Who pays with a horse? A stallion. So, I mean, I might take that offer.
No. You should first of all, never take an offer from Trump, ever. Okay. So today Tucker Carlson was calling John Fetterman a deadbeat. Have you ever seen a bigger deadbeat than Donald Trump? But like literally, he might be the biggest deadbeat in American history. He never ever pays his bills. You know that the Republican National Committee very recently said, yeah, look, we're going to stop paying your legal fees, because he got a couple $100 million to pay for legal fees, and he won't use the money because he's trying to figure out how to steal it, but he won't use it for legal fees. So he's like, I'm not paying. And then Republicans have to use other money to pay for his legal fees. He's unbelievable. Rudy Giuliani massacred his reputation on live television to support Donald Trump. He did like a Harry Carey on his own reputation. He's like, I will be a moron, right? And Trump's like, no, I'm not paying your legal fees. He's like, what? I'm going to go to jail. What are you doing? You have a couple $100 million that people gave you for that. He's like, nope, I'm not going to give it to you. I love it. I love people who are stupid enough to give Donald Trump money. And so, you know what? He has those criminally negligent lawyers now who are like, yeah, sure, he had the documents. And people would walk in all the time. Right? Just random people would walk into that office, right? Like implicating him 100%. Why? Because he never pays his lawyers. So no lawyer will take the case anymore, even though he's a former president. It would be amazing. But they're like, I don't want to get paid in a horse. Okay. And if you said yes, you think he'd send you the $5 million horse? No, he'd send you a donkey or a mule. And he'd be like, trust me, it's a $5 million horse. It's the best horse you've ever seen. Okay. He's just a lifelong criminal.
I just want to remind you all, though, that it's really important that we don't cancel student loan debt, because if you agree to take out a loan, you should pay it back. Coming from people like Donald Trump, who tries to literally pay his lawyers with horses, if they're lucky enough, by the way, to even get any kind of payment from Donald Trump. All right, so let's talk about whether there's ever a possibility for a horse to be worth $5 million. I think horses are great. I like to think of them as big dogs, and I love dogs. I didn't think that any of them would ever be worth $5 million, but I was mistaken. Okay. So apparently they can be worth $5 million, and in fact, much more. Factors such as breed, age, performance level, and capability influence the horse's price. Thus, racehorses fetch a higher price due to the potential earnings they may earn in the future. So if it's a like badass racehorse and you're going to race it for money, then it could be valuable. It could be worth $5 million or more. In fact, apparently there are, this is insane. There are some horses, is this correct? That are worth as much as, where did I read that? I thought I read somewhere that there's, yeah, here we go. Get a load of this and sit down so you can really take this in because this blows my mind. The most expensive horse of all time, a thoroughbred, with a name I'm not going to try to pronounce, I can say Pegasus, sold at a whopping $70 million. $70 million. Another famous one, the retired British champion Frankel, was once valued at over $100 million. Now, do we think that Trump was in possession of that kind of a horse? I doubt it, but who knows?
I know that he was in possession of a horse's ass, and that's him. I'm surprised, being the mob boss that he is, or mob boss wannabe that he is, that he didn't offer to pay with a horse's head. Okay. But look, if he thinks every single person who gives him money or does any goods or services for him is a sucker to be robbed, if you're a voter of his, what do you think he thinks of you?
Let's compare those fancy horses I just talked about with Turkish horses. Okay, you ready for that? Remember, we just talked about a $70 million horse. We talked about a $100 million horse. There are apparently Turkish horses as well, and British horses. So a British and American bred trained racehorse, Sharif Dancer, has an impressive net worth of $40 million. Throughout his career, the Stallion has won 3 races and was placed second in 1, making him the most successful racehorses in history, one of the most successful racehorses in history. Now, the list goes on, with many around the world priced at millions. Arabian and English horses easily get those fancy price tags, but Turkey, according to Ashwarya, who helped us research for this, says that Turkey is not that far behind, but I disagree. The golden Akal Teke is a very rare Turkish horse and is considered the best naturally golden colored horse on earth, but they cost around $100,000 on average. Sorry, Cenk. Turkey's not bringing the best horses. Okay, they're trying.
Well, I don't know what you're talking about. Look, first of all, we have the golden horses. Okay, and look, to all my creditors, I am very happy to pay you with this horse. Okay, look, it might not be money, but it's golden. It's golden.
Golden horse.
We should go back to the golden horse standard. You know, the Federal Reserve is a mess. We're not winning with it. Let's go back to golden horses standard.